actually a very decent wrestler. But charismatic-wise and like as a manager-wise, there's none better. In my opinion, like I think Larry Sweeney is gold as a manager. But so I would love to see him back in Ring of Honor or somewhere else where he can be on TV and show what he can do.
Yeah.
Also, I know we did mention that you are a spokesperson for your for a nutrition company. How is that like? Like, how did you get into doing that? Did they ask you, or did you just use their products and then?
You know, I was luckily I was introduced by you know, a friend of mine, and now, you know, since I'm an athlete and travel a lot, and I use supplements. You know, I use protein powder, I use a multivitamin. You know, I use like a pre-workout shake, post-workout shake. You know, and I was like, you know, why I'm another, you know, that just kind of, you know, fell into place, and you know, I'm really proud because it's a young growing company. It's EnergyX Labs, which is energyxlabs.com if you're interested, all in one, all together. And you know, you can buy most of the products online at any, you know, big online supplement stores. And they have really good products, and they're really reasonably priced. And I'm not just saying that because you know, I write a blog for them as well, reviewing their products, which is energyxlabs.blogspot.com. You also find it on my website linked many times. If you know, into nutrition, if you're into working out, I write my reviews there where I'm always pretty honest, and you can see which products I use and you know, what I think about them. They have a tremendous pre-workout shake, which is called Overdose, which is kind of something you know, maybe with wrestling associated, not the best name, but it's kind of like a, you know, it gives a little pump before the workout, and for you guys, you know, I know Explode, it's kind of something like that, but much better. And I've heard people, you know, actually friends of mine, they were like, they used it and they were like, yeah, it's awesome. And I was really happy because, you know, like, I'm not just saying it to say it because I'm the, you know, the spokesperson. I'm really happy to, you know, promote and be associated with a really good product.
Well, of course, but you wouldn't want to be the spokesperson of, you know, a product you didn't trust and use yourself.
Exactly.
Another good chat question just came in from Comic Geek. He wants to know, what was your opinion on the movie The Wrestler? I know you had mentioned it before earlier, but what's your honest opinion on the movie The Wrestler?
I liked it. You know, I thought it was a very sad movie, but it, you know, it showed a very true picture, and it didn't have a happy ending. Lots of stories in life don't.
That's true.
You know, I thought Mickey Rourke did a tremendous job, and it was a really gritty movie, and you know, that's what wrestling is sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly think Mickey Rourke did a tremendous job, made a good comeback to the big screen with that movie. Another question coming in. What do you feel is missing in wrestling nowadays? I mean, it could be nothing, but you know, a lot of people think there's that it factor missing that was in part of the big booms. You know, I can remember back in the mid '80s, you know, there was a big boom with Hogan and WWF, and then in the mid '90s with NWO and WCW. What's missing in wrestling nowadays?
That's a hard question, you know. With all those booms, there was something associated with, you know, with like Hulk Hogan, as you said, and the NWO, and The Rock and Austin. So I think maybe there's just another guy like those guys missing. But as you can tell, you know, like those guys don't come along every year. They come along every 10 years, you know, every 15 years. And, you know, maybe just have to wait a little bit longer for one of those guys to come along.
And I agree with that. I've always said on this show before, wrestling is a cycle, and you know it'll get back to that point again where an event will happen. You know, something will happen to make wrestling boom again, as I'm sure it will. Wow, this is I just like this question right here. What's your opinion on the quote-unquote internet's favorite wrestler, John Cena, who is arguably one of the most hated wrestlers over the internet? What's your opinion on John Cena?
I think he's great.
Thank you.
I think he's great. He goes out there, he performs, he gets the reaction. He's loved or hated, but, he gets the reaction. He's great. He's obviously, being WWE's headliner for a while now, and I think that speaks for himself. Love him or hate him, that speaks for him.
Yeah, you know what? I'm at the forefront of people defending Cena because it's so hard. I think it's so hard to hate or judge on someone that goes out there 300 days out of the year and puts on a show for us. I mean, I have tremendous respect for any wrestler that does it, and unless you're being a fan and booing them as a heel, but, people honestly hate John Cena, and, I've seen people wish death upon him online. I'm thinking, he goes out there every week to entertain us, the fans. So I'm very glad to actually hear that you feel the same way, that, he is doing a good job.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Who or what is your favorite gimmick in Chikara? Or name a few of your favorite gimmicks in Chikara, obviously. I know you don't want to pick a favorite, but...
there's many. I think Hydra is, a tremendous success story in Chikara. He's super entertaining. There's, Ultra Mantis. There's just so many, and so many characters have grown, like former Shane Storm is now, Stigma, and, Equinox, that whole storyline with Win Gerard, and it's just, there's so many great characters, and I think there's a character for anybody out there to relate to. I think it's just such a big variety, and that makes it so great.
Now, do you feel Chikara, if given the chance, could be a very popular mainstream wrestling company? I've said that for years, that if they would get a chance to be on TV, they could appeal to so many different people.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I know you've done a lot of work in Chikara, but I just think that their product's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I really wish they would get a chance to be on a national product or a bigger scale, because honestly, a lot of people outside of my area and independent fans don't really know what Chikara is. So. Well,
if you're not in the Philly area, luckily Chikara is very, very interactive. Go to ChikaraPro.com. Check out Chikara podcast, The Go-Go, which comes out weekly, and it's 10 minutes full of wrestling, and it's one of the only wrestling podcasts of its kind. And you always get 2 matches, or at least clips of 2 matches and interviews and fun stuff. So you can actually follow Chikara pretty easily from your iPod or computer. So I would urge anybody to do that, if you have a chance to. Because most of us have a computer or an iPhone, or not necessarily an iPhone, just a phone or an MP3 player or an iPod or whatever, where you can watch all that good stuff.
All right. Very good question from Dylan Ice. Have you ever openly disagreed with a booker's decision for you to lose a match?
I can't remember. Probably yes, but it hasn't been so much to do with losing the match. It probably had more to do that it didn't make sense. Because I think wrestling is a business, and it should make sense. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't think it has been just no, just I don't want to do it. If I done it, it would have been from a business perspective.
Okay. One of our chatters, Vintage, wants to know: will you be watching WWE Judgment Day tonight? Actually, on in an hour and 8 minutes. Will you be watching Judgment Day?